Welcome, Emma.
Thank
You
you.
are the owner of or co-owner of Restaurant Aure, a Michelin-starred restaurant in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
We always like to start off by asking how you got into the restaurant industry in the first place. So I believe it's quite a while ago for you when that started. So feel free to
Yeah,
talk us through.
I think it's a bit untraditional. First of all, thank you for having me.
Of course.
After I finished school pretty early in the stage, the 2 years where everybody travels and have to figure out who they are, I decided to go work at a big hotel in Copenhagen called Bella Sky, and I ended up working there for 5 years almost, in a bit different departments and including it when I studied university and all these things. And when I graduated, COVID came, so I had to step out of the industry because we all know it closed a bit down.
Mm.
Got out of the industry into tech, actually. But after 2 years, the former CEO of Bella Center called me and said that he invested in a hotel down south of Denmark. And if I wanted to come just to do like a 3-month employment to help them start up. And I kind of did not because it was pretty far away from where I was from. And yeah, I honestly didn't know what to do at that point. So, but I ended up saying yes for just 3 months. And while going there to the hotel, I met my boyfriend, Nicky, and ended up staying at the hotel with him for 2 years.
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
3 months
Yeah.
became 2 years.
Yeah, it extended a bit. Yeah.
And then you obviously started the restaurant together with Nicky as well.
Yes.
Was that directly after you guys
Yeah,
stopped at the hotel?
we didn't have it as a plan. Again, he's been a chef forever, and I haven't really had a specific role in the industry. I kind of like the industry, but more the financial part of it. So it
So
was
like the business side.
yeah, the business side, the strategy, like how can we make this like a profitable business and all these things.
It's very useful.
Very useful, especially for a chef.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Like
Yeah. But he obviously always dreamt of having a restaurant. I think every small boy as a chef does that, honestly.
and he also been through several Michelin kitchens and
He
so forth.
he has a solid 2 and 3 star CV. Yes. And we just for a while talked about that it could be fun to do a restaurant one day, but none of us have ever tried it, so it was also a bit risky, and we didn't have an investor at that point and no rich parents. So it was really just him and me that had this fun idea. But we ended up quitting at the hotel, basically because I wanted to come back to the city, and my friends and family was there. And then I think like literally 2 days after we got back home to Copenhagen, and we didn't have a plan. We had no idea.
So you just quit.
We just quit
Went
and
back.
we're like, we need to find out. And we probably also don't have to work together anymore, just to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start working together.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's open a
Let's
restaurant.
open a restaurant. Yeah. I don't know. But then it was really just a coincidence, because then Nicky got a call from one of his friends saying that, who, by the way, used to work at the restaurant that was in the house where we are today. So yeah,
okay.
and he said that they were under bankruptcy, and I'm sure he called to be like to just share with his friend that he just lost his job and was super sad.
And then Nicky
And
was
then I just
thinking,
hear it, and I'm just like,
Wait a second.
bankruptcy.
so it's available.
Awesome location.
Maybe we can finance this ourselves without, taking a loan in the bank or having this massive like investor.
And that's what you did?
And that's what we did.
So you just did it from your savings, no investors,
Yeah.
no nothing.
Yes, we paid very little money for the bankruptcy, and it was during Christmas time in 24, and everybody were on holiday. But I literally just like I googled bankruptcy lawyers Copenhagen, and then I just called, and I don't remember, it was like plus 200.
Sorry, can't help you right now. I'm having julefrokost.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very drunk. Sorry. Yeah, and then I called them all, and then I literally got it, and he's like, "Yeah, I do have that bankruptcy." And I was like, "What do you mean? Do you have it? Is it you?"
Mm.
And he's like, "You know what? I'll call you one of the days between Christmas and New Year's, and we'll figure it out." I make it sound very easy. It was a bit of procedure, but it worked.
probably not the most difficult thing you have done in the past 2 years.
I mean, afterwards there was a thing or two
A
that I
few
could
more
highlight.
challenges. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then-
could you take it over with all the equipment and everything? So
Yeah,
you had something to start
Yeah,
from?
we did. That's the good part of a bankruptcy, I would say, that you really do buy everything. You're also offered to take over the staff,
Yeah.
but we decided to say no to that because at that point we honestly didn't really knew what we wanted to do with the place. We didn't have a concept. We didn't have a name. We knew Nicky was quite good at cooking. That was basically the level we were at.
Yeah, I guess that made it an obvious choice to go at least fine dining.
Yeah,
because if you
we
have that
knew
at
that
your
we wanted.
disposal,
Yeah, we knew that we wanted to do fine dining, but and we also knew. I can say that now. We also knew that we wanted a Michelin star, but we made it as a 3-year goal.
yeah, so it didn't need to come.
Yeah, it didn't have to
immediately.
come immediately. Also because we knew that there was no chance we could, because the financial part was such in a way for us, because we bought the chairs on DBA. We bought the curtains from Jysk.
Now you can all say it. Like,
Now I can
spill
say
the
it,
tea.
yeah.
Spill the tea.
We obviously took over some plates and some glasses and some cutlery, and we got the tables from a beautiful small family on Fyn that wanted to do them for us for free. And
Like they handmade them for you. or-
yeah, so
That's
it was really just like the whole project started out as a love project, because there was just like friends and family and super kind people involved in every single square meter and part of the restaurant. And I honestly think that's why it felt so hard, warm and successful from day one, because I really feel that our guests too could see that this was really a hard project.
Yeah, exactly. But I do guess there's been a lot of stressful moments in the beginning as well.
100%.
You poured all your money savings into it.
I mean, we had no money.
Yeah.
I think from the series we're part of too, I think there's also like a scene where we're considering like selling the car.
Yeah. And then you're like, but they will not even pay our expenses for 1 month, so let's keep it.
It was really the fact, and we took over the keys the 14th of January 24, and we only had money to pay rent for 1 month, so we had to open in the beginning of March with staff. And at that point, I was like, I have no idea how we should pay salaries. I have no clue.
What thought process did you go through to come up with the name and the concept? Because it sounds like it was quite in a hurry, stressful, come up with something, right?
But I also think that when you are in, and not to be like, I don't want to tell people that's how it should be done, but at least in our case, it worked really well to be under pressure in this period, because it made it quite easy to decide which way we wanted to go. Obviously,
don't overthink, because there's no time
don't
for
overthink.
it.
You don't have the time to do it. The most important part was make sure you know what concept you want, because then we can start looking for staff that has the same strategy and goal as we do.
Yeah, you can make a decision of whether you buy a plate for 40 euros or for 200.
Exactly. And it was really a discussion where Nicky and I had to look each other in the eyes and be like, what's most important here? Because he came from Jørgen, that has 3 stars today, and they could just, buy all the kind of plates they wanted and do all the big langoustines and all these things. And I said to Nicky, I don't even know how to finance the plates. So that was a bit of like
somewhat a culture shock, I guess, also for Nicky.
I
right?
think especially for him, to me it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You can't spend what you don't have.
No,
you know.
of course.
And I think for him it was the first like slap in the face he ever got from like, okay, money does really pay for the plates here and for the food, and so it was a bit tricky in the beginning.
But it sounds like you took a lot of risk that first
Oh
month.
yeah, I mean the whole project itself was one big risk, and we also talked about it, and my mom especially was like, "What are you gonna do if it doesn't work?" And I said, "Well, at this point we were, I think I was 26 and he was 29, and we were like, well, if everything doesn't work out, we're still so young that we can like work ourselves up again."
Yeah, exactly. Like you have enough time to recover, and you can always go back to
Yeah.
getting a job. And then
Yeah, he
before
can
you know
always
it,
be a chef. Everybody needs a chef, a
with
good
a resume
one.
like that in general,
Yeah.
I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But did you have you did the finance, of course. Did you have in your Excel budget, did you have like a strategy?
No.
It was just like, let's
Yeah.
just be ready to serve some food and hope for the best?
I never did a budget because it didn't. I tried, and there was just red numbers. So I was just, this is just.
So I shut it down.
Yeah,
and never
I
opened it
closed
again.
the computer and be like, okay, let's do it in another
cannot
way.
Get this green, and then I guess you guys started coming to the conclusion: if we want green numbers, then getting a star is needed. Or what?
No, I don't think that was the process. I just think the process was earn some money.
Yeah.
No matter how we do it, and that's also we did Easter lunches, we did a sandwich to go. While the waiters were prepping during the day, we opened for like coffee to go, because a lot of people are like taking walks. So I did a huge like board where we wrote with like coffee to go, come inside, you can borrow the toilet, yeah. And that was really...
We do that quite frequently. Like, those places are great if you're on a walk with a dog or something.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean...
great margins on coffee as well.
Yeah, very good.
Especially with the prices here. You walk in and you spend 70 crowns on a cup of
for
coffee.
an espresso. No.
Bargain. Yeah, but like, you're laughing, but that's often normal.
Yeah, but it is true. And to me, it was also, honestly, a strategy of getting people to know us. Like, because people who lives out there, they do kind of have the money to go out and fine dine. We're based between Noma and Alchemist, so we're in good neighborhood. I mean,
one of that small islands between, right?
Yeah. And then my strategy was just to be like open and welcome people, and we actually got a wedding out of it. A couple came in one day and be like, "Oh, I love this place. We're getting married." I was like, "We can host it."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I even though the coffee to go was just a way to earn a bit more, I also think it really opened up the knowledge about us.
Yeah, people from the area, they just get to know you a little bit.
Exactly.
And
summertime in Copenhagen, we have the biggest garden probably in the city, right next to the water. People could sit out there, enjoy a cup of coffee. It didn't harm us at all.
I think that's one thing we hear from a lot of the guests we had in already that started their restaurant from scratch, is that they really had to do that hustling in the beginning. A lot of them also did it during COVID. Just kind of revert the whole concept just to stay above water, you say. So I think that's nice. But I'm kind of curious, like, how did you get into, like, because you got that Michelin star within 1.5 months, 2.5 months?
2.5, yeah, 81 days.
So how was that moment for you guys?
Oh, it's honestly filmed, so you can really see it. It's recorded.
A little more dramatic, perhaps.
But I guess it came as the biggest surprise.
It really did.
Yeah.
I mean, we had no idea, and we didn't even wanted to hope for it, because we knew it was just like so surreal and unrealistic. And we only been open for 2 months, and we knew that the interior and all these things were not even on the level of Michelin restaurants in the Nordics, at least. We're on a very high level here. But I think it was just 1 week before the ceremony, we get an email from the Michelin guide that we're invited for the ceremony.
Wow. And it was in Helsinki, right?
Yeah. And I had to ask my mom to pay the flight tickets because we don't have the money for it. So it was really it was
at
where we needed that invitation, I can tell you.
Exactly. Because how much did that mean, getting the star, in terms of like looking at bookings, new business?
There are 2 perspectives of getting the star. First of all, if you can say it in a harsh way, Nicky's ego.
Yeah, of course. I get that. Like,
that was his dream. He you can also see
getting
it.
your own star.
Yeah,
right?
Getting your own star. It's really I think it's more important for him than me. But I mean it. It was really. I knew that it was, and we also agreed on that we will do whatever we can while we still look each other in the eyes, of course. But I knew that it was his biggest dream in the world. So I'm very happy on that side of it to be able to give him that, because I never had a dream of opening a Michelin restaurant, to be fair and square. So I'm happy that I can help him with that. And then there is the business part of it that I'm very interested in, because we were fully booked the rest of the year within 1 hour.
Wow.
Like just literally an hour after it
was announced.
That's insane, right?
I still get goosebumps when I talk about it, because that was the point where you could just see the red numbers turn green without even getting the money in.
My Excel sheet is working.
Yeah, exactly. I said
Do
it
you
would
think
work.
you would have been here today if you didn't get the
I
star?
have no idea.
It's
I
hard
have
to
no
say.
idea.
What was the bookings like before, like the first 2 months? Because of course you have a bit of momentum of being new, perhaps. But
I remember the first 3 weeks were not slow. We had a good retention from start, but it was also very much like friends and family. And then the first food critic, Søren Frank, comes in. He writes for Berlingske.
Yeah.
And then the next 4 days, they all sit there. Berlingske and Jyllands-Posten and Politiken. All these big food critics.
is that the first moments where you guys
Yeah, it was
were
like going for
stressed
the
during
exam
service?
every day.
Yeah.
Like we needed that. And luckily, they gave us really, really good reviews. And that just works, at least in Denmark, a lot.
Yeah, and then you get on the radar of Michelin quickly,
So we
course.
I have no idea how we get into the Michelin, to be honest. I don't know if they talk together. It's such a
I guess
secret forum.
At least in this show, also you see a lot that they also rely a lot upon, I think, the local people who do those reviews.
Yeah.
I believe that is often the early signs for them to at least start coming, but I guess it is.
You no one has ever confirmed this.
But I think they will probably also just pay attention to, there's a new restaurant opening with a chef who has been at Your Aure or at different star kitchens. He's probably gonna chase it.
Yeah, exactly. And that so we were okay. From a personal perspective, I can also say this now, but I honestly think from my head, I would have loved ourselves to get the star a year later, because it was so stressful to open the restaurant. We never had a restaurant before. All of a sudden, you're responsible for 10 employees. You've never been a boss. You've never had this responsibility before. Not only are you responsible for your employees, you're responsible for paying the bills. You're responsible for yourself. You're responsible for the guests out there. It's just so much responsibility. And then over in that, you get the star.
Yeah, and they have to
and
do
then
everything
you just,
to keep it.
Yeah, that's the next part of it. Then you have to keep it. But then people have some others expectations when they visit you, because now you're a star. You have a Michelin star. And people knows that Michelin stars in the Nordics are what maybe 2 stars is in, I don't know, Spain.
That first team you gathered of 10 employees, did any of them had experience from Michelin restaurants beforehand?
Yeah, a few of them, but not in the level of knowing how to.
So there was some part of it where you also suddenly had to focus more on keeping the service at the Michelin level suddenly, because you had to
very much
a lot of teaching involved, of course.
But you do that no matter what, because you always want it in your way, no matter what kind of restaurant you're in. So we didn't really focus on people having the Michelin experience. We just wanted to be like, are you a good chef? Are you a good waiter? Do you want to work? We can teach you how we want it,
Yeah, exactly.
So that was honestly, it was the easiest part to gather the team.
And then nurturing them as well, that kind of went.
You win some, you lose some, right?
Yeah, of course, but that makes sense, of course. But I guess it helps when you have people have been in the kitchen before. It's also a nice stepping stone for most of those younger people who come in there, right, to be able to join along on the wave.
That was also kind of what we said to them. That it's this is going to be so tough. This is going to be probably the hardest ever. And there were people on the way that figured out this is not for me. And that's completely fair. No hard feelings on that.
Yeah, because I'm curious about that. Because since now, you have to start now for basically almost 2 years, right? How much space does that take in your head, on a daily basis, to have to maintain that star? Because we can talk a bit about the show soon, but it's the constant looking at bookings. Do we have VIPs? How much of your day does that consume?
100% of the day. But to me, it's again, me and Nicky, we see it in 2 very different ways. When he sees an international name, he thinks Michelin. When I see it, I see a corporate trip.
Exactly, yeah.
And the same goes with Nicky being like, oh, we have a chef off today, or we have one is on vacation, whatever. let's close one table. And I'll be like, there's no chance we can close one table. So that's the fight we do internally. And I think it's super healthy for us that we keep like, challenging each other on the strategy. Not because we totally agree on the strategy and we totally agree on the path of where we want to go and the way to it, but we just do it in two very different ways.
I think that's great. I think it's an amazing recipe for running a restaurant like this, because it's like most of those really high-end or fine dining Michelin-star restaurants, they really struggle with making ends meet as well, right? And I believe you are having a profitable business.
We do, and we had since day one.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but that's also what I said to Nicky, that we can do this, but I will never sacrifice the living standard we have of this and your dream. And we agreed on that. He totally agrees on that. And that's also why a big part, I wouldn't say 50%, but at least 40% of our business is also private events. We do weddings, we do private birthday parties, we do private dinings. And we also take them in when they only want 3 courses and dance until 3 a.m, because we do have the space for it.
But it's also such a relief now that you both have the standard that Nicky wants, and you have the business size that you want.
Yeah.
So you can really enjoy the process.
And it will always be the one thing we argue the most about. We did before I got here today. That's, but I need these plates, but I'm like, but how do you want to pay for the plates? It's still a thing we talk about, those plates.
I love that thing so much. Let's use this as a nice segue to that part as well, because during the stress of opening up Aure, everything we just spoke about, Apple decided to put 4 huge cameras in your faces and record the entire process. Like, how did that get started in the first place? Because you were part of Knife's Edge, a series that you can watch now on Apple TV. How did that begin? Like,
it began in a very weird way. I was out buying hand towels for the guests for the restaurants, and I stand in
IKEA, or where did you?
So yes.
Yeah, but good. Yeah.
And I get an email from now I know, very sweet woman called Samantha, and it's so cryptic. It's like, hey, we are doing a international production. I think maybe it's not like click on this link, but it's like it's something. So I'm like, this
Almost
is phishing.
The spam alert was ticking.
Yeah, but it did not.
Yeah.
But my spam alert ticked, and I said to Nicky, "You have to see this so weird thing."
But then you have to click.
But I did not. But the only reason why I knew it was not phishing was because Nicky's friend, who worked at Restaurant Aure at that time.
Oh, they also got it, of course.
He told me the day before when we had a dinner together. He said, "We're part of a new Apple TV series." And I said, "Are you kidding me? Are we being asked to be part of the same?"
Imagine if you did not have that dinner before, you would just not have clicked.
Maybe I wouldn't.
Fishing.
Maybe I wouldn't. You know, sometimes it's also just all about the luck, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then I replied that we're super interested, and then I got like 52 pages of an NDA sent, and I'm like, okay.
So it begins.
Yeah, here it is. And then we actually went through, I think, 3 or 4 screenings.
Really?
Like interviews, online interviews with the production team. Gordon Ramsay's name was never mentioned during this process. But when they were super transparent about that, you know, we're probably doing like 250 interviews. We are interested in having restaurants from all over the world. We're not sure if we're choosing Denmark. We're not sure if we're choosing you, but we think your story is great. So I said to Nicky, let's just give it everything we have here. Like, this is the most incredible thing that could happen. And then they wrote us back, I think, like 2 weeks after that Gordon Ramsay and Apple TV chose to have us in the show. And that's where you really know your life is changing.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
You really know.
Especially when you're in that moment of stress where like, are we going to make this? We have to open up soon. We need those bookings. Even though, you know, by the recordings, it will take a long time before it gets out. But you just know, we're going to be in a Gordon Ramsay Apple TV show.
Yeah.
I'm curious, now we spoke about the effect of getting the star. How does that compare to the effect of being a part of the show?
There's nothing that can beat getting a star.
Okay, so that's still superior.
that will always be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's very easy.
But I guess the combination that would still beat just having a star, right?
That what?
The combination of this show coming out while already having your star right now. Like,
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
nothing
it
that can
hasn't
compete
it
with that, I
hasn't
guess.
made anything worse.
Like, how far in advance are you booked right now?
3 months.
Wow.
Yeah,
And you're
like plus and minus, you
yeah,
know.
of course.
Yeah.
But that's just incredible. I'm just curious, what was it like to record that together? Because it is now indeed almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It is actually on TV now, or like you can watch it now. Because they been with you guys at the restaurant for several months, right?
Yeah, I
Basically
think
every
we
day.
filmed around like 2.5, 3 months with them every week. And they're quite big for I mean, Apple TV they mean it.
It's the shit. Yeah.
This is
It's
serious.
so high end also.
Yeah, it
Everything
is.
on there is incredible quality.
Yeah, but it is, and also like the people they send, it's also very high quality. It's just they really know what they do.
Was it 24 people that were?
Yeah, I
there,
think it was
like a
like
team?
24 included like drivers and cameramen and production, and then the director from Apple TV also came one day, and I was like, am I starstruck now or what? So it was really big. It was really big, and it was a test, I would say, on your attitude and attention and all these things, because they film with us while we open the restaurant, and it's pretty stressful itself to open a new restaurant that you want to get a star with. But then onto that hat, you have like 20 people from London filming you, asking you to repeat that scene, asking you questions, taking you out of service because they want like a 101 filming, because they have a question. And you really had to like breathe heavy sometimes, because you're like, okay, this will be good, but right now it's killing me.
Did you manage to not make it be harmful for the guest experience?
I mean, that's pretty hard to say. We tried our very best,
Yeah.
and the team, Apple TV team, Gordon Ramsay studio, whoever filmed it, they were very supportive, because there was sometimes, because we were never allowed to tell what we were filming for. So it was, I obviously called and wrote all the guests in advance that, FYI, we have this film crew filming for this series I cannot tell you about. Are you okay you will never have like a like close up, but would you be okay having your face in the background? And I would say 99% said yes. And then there's one guy be like, no.
Yeah, but I guess for a lot of people it's also kind of exciting.
Exactly,
All those
exactly.
big cameras around you.
Yeah.
Probably when they walk by, you'll be like,
Yeah, and at that time, we had a lot of Americans too, and they're just
because of the summer, or is it like?
Yeah, they're just a tourist,
Yeah,
and we
exactly.
got a very good reputation from that part.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't mind, I guess.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
maybe a little more
So-
open-minded in that sense.
Yeah, they are.
Wow. And how was it to see yourself back on TV?
Oh, it's awful, I think. I
Why?
think it's just when I saw the episode, I thought it was a bit harsh on us, and not necessarily Nicky and me, but like it visualizes us in a very harsh way. But all the comments we've got from people is that, oh, we love it, it's so authentic, you're the sweetest, you're the coolest, you're the
I think
kindest.
it was amazing to watch.
Yeah.
Like,
So I think it's just that I see ourselves in, but it's also because, I kind of maybe it's good that you re-see it, because I maybe forgot a bit what we actually went through at that time, and how much under pressure we were.
you feel way further than you were back then now. Of course,
Yeah.
it's just looking
We
at
have an
yourself
established
struggle 2 years
company
ago.
now.
Imagine how cool this is gonna be though. Like in 10 years or something, you always still have this
Yes.
to look back
We will
upon.
always have
But
that.
a lot of the focus from the episode is also just small details, like you didn't have that many plates, those expensive plates, so you constantly had to wash them up and stuff. I guess those things are just so standard now and never really an issue, right?
It's so fun because we filmed it 2 years ago, and people saw it now and they thought we got the star now.
Yeah, of course.
Because why should they Google whenever the Nordic stars were handed out? But a lot of people thought that we just got the star. So many people, in the most kindest way in the world, have written us. They want to make plates for us and send plates for us.
No.
And it's so cute, but you're kind of like
We can afford them now.
We're there. We're good. Yeah.
I mean, still send them.
Yeah. I mean, we did find a very good ceramics that's actually sending some samples now. But obviously, we want to pay for the things now.
Yeah. But still cute because
So
it is.
cute.
You see it on TV, so you kind of assume that it is rather recent. But I remember indeed, I think from like back then when you got the star, we were just, I think, beginning to think about starting this podcast. So we saw it coming back. I was like, oh yeah, we need to talk with you guys because you got it within 2.5 months. Sounds crazy. That never happens. But that's quite a while ago. So now I was like, when was that ceremony actually? And then it's also, everything is so dramatic in the show, of course.
Yeah, that's a part of TV.
That's
what you
it's so
said.
amazing because
Everything is very dramatic.
I remember watching the episode and we already knew, okay, we're going to talk about this. And then I was watching it. I was like, oh, I'm so happy for them. You see them at the ceremony, Nicky in tears. They made it so dramatic. It looks like you're not getting a star. And then I watched something back about the ceremony and you were actually the first ones.
We were the very first ones that got it. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, they're good at what they do in there.
Yeah, exactly. And now you had like, back then you got the first star and you had one ceremony afterwards, right?
Yeah, and that second ceremony was actually also held before the series got out. So, so we maintained a star.
Imagine how
before,
dreadful it would have been.
I honestly thought about it. Like, imagine us losing the star before the series got out.
And then they have the next series coming out where they're like, oh, they're getting a star, and people looking it up like,
they don't have a star. What the
cheaters?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. So that was why it was. To me, it was like a bit more fun that people were thinking we got the star right away, and we were like, no, we've actually already also maintained it. So
you and Nicky, what do you talk about when you have the conversation about maintaining a star? Because I guess it's not just keeping your level; it's also about being innovative and.
To be fair and square about it, and this is like we will never do that again. But we never really thought about the opportunity of losing the star. We knew it could happen, but we also knew that it was like, it's never happening to people in the Nordics. So we never really thought...
Is that so statistically, that people don't really lose their stars?
Yeah, it's not really a thing. Now they just took one away from Alinea in Chicago, which is like crazy, and one more. But it's not really common. I think they got better at taking away the stars, which I think is fair. Because we have to be able to rely on the Michelin guide, right?
Yeah, and otherwise the guide also becomes too big, right?
Exactly.
To some extent.
Yeah,
like,
especially in the Nordics, we hand out the stars. We're very happy of but there's also very many good restaurants.
Yeah, the level is just high.
Yeah, but we never really thought about it until we sat at the ceremony.
I was just about to ask, must have been way more stressful than the first time you were there.
Yeah, and we were just like, what if we're not getting it again? And that my heart was like pumping.
Yeah.
But
the first time you don't have anything to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then now you have everything to lose, and it will. If we lose a star, we can lock the door. We would. It wouldn't make any sense to be open.
No, that's crazy, right?
So,
because everything is going so good up until that moment, but then, literally, that one ceremony might mean the end of business.
And that takes me a bit back to what I said previously in the talk here, that I kind of wanted us to wait one more year of having the star, because the nerves and your head and everything, I wanted it to be a bit more in place than it was. Maybe I would have been better at handling it, because I'm not the perfect one at this. I'm not the perfect girlfriend or business owner and partner and boss and HR and whatever I am in that company.
Just a few of the small things we're doing on a daily basis. Yeah.
But we're really trying to be the very best as we are. I mean, we can never be better than what we are and what we want to be. And it will take years because we don't have any experience with it. But we are also trying to be very honest about it, especially for the team, that there is definitely things we've never tried before.
Yeah, but again, it's part of it. Like, you're all doing it for the first time. Out of curiosity, are you, and maybe emphasis on Nicky, content with 1 star, or is it a dream to go further?
This is also a business and an ego thing.
Yeah, like that's hence why
we
I said
actually had a talk
Nicky,
about it today. because business-wise, we're very satisfied with 1 star. Business really good. We are still in an affordable price for people, so we can be fully booked. And we can fill out the restaurant with events, which I think is very important for the business we run. But I think Nicky's ego will always tell him to aim for more. So we would love to have 2 stars, and we would love to proactively go for it, as long as it's still a healthy business and we can look each other in the eyes.
Of course, those Michelin stars are a bit of a mystery.
Mhm.
But what do you think it takes to get from 1 to 2 stars?
Yeah, that's a very individual one. I think the interior and the restaurant itself, the visual look of it, is very important. And we are actually currently going through a very big renovation. We don't do the renovation to get 2 stars. But obviously, it's a big part of why we also do it. We do it because the house is built in 35 or 55 or something. It's very old. And so is the kitchen, and so is the ventilation. And I mean, it was a house that really needed a hand. And therefore, we upgraded a lot on the restaurant. But we've also upgraded in a fact of, let's do it in the way that also makes sense if we want to get 2 stars. So we hired a very good architect, and we've upgraded on chairs and tables and lighting and these things and plates. Even though we didn't necessarily have to do it, but now we've just decided to do everything in...
Might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you guys if it's gonna give us 2 stars, because I will never be able to know, and nobody will know.
No,
But I think it's a very good investment to go in that direction.
I find it interesting what you're saying here about it. Like, when you, let's say you would get that 2nd star, somehow you also have to change a bit as a business, right? Like, you can not keep those relatively affordable price, or like you might be able to. I don't know how that works, or if you have to go more exclusive, but it just changes the business model, of course.
Yeah,
to
the
some
business
extent.
model will change a lot, and that's why I'm not against 2 stars. I've agreed on that we do it,
But maybe
but
a little
that's why I
scared.
still want it to be like affordable and positive business, because we need to because a part of the upgrade, if I can say it like that, chapter 2, is also that we staffed up and invested in things that you cannot make a revenue on: plates, kitchen, these things. But I've seen it as a good investment for the motivation of working for the 2 stars too. So we all know the when you're going home to your apartment, we know that you just feel better when it's cleaned up and the bathroom is nice and new sheets on the bed. And I kind of think it's the same for the chefs to go at work, to work with a good products, and like it's the good langoustines and it's the right oven and it's a heating cabinet that actually works. Even though for me, probably for you too, and every other finance person in the world, that is like, but the other one worked. Yes, it did work,
But not perfectly.
but
And if
not
you want
perfectly, and not in the way we want it to be when we're working on this level. And I have agreed with myself on that if it's so little that he asks for, that he can deliver, let's say just 10% better, then it's a good investment for our business. And that's red numbers. But
yeah, but I find it
yeah.
so interesting. Like, it's such a different world somehow. Like the level, how high it is, and how much perfection matters every single day. It's also, of course, great because for guests who are coming there, you just know that everything is gonna be perfect every day, or at least you try to be perfect.
It's
so
we're
fascinating.
only humans, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody can do a failure, and that's completely okay.
Exactly.
But it's like going to an exam every day.
Yeah, but I find
have
it
to
so
perform.
impressive, like to just be able to show up every day like that. And that's also the main thing when watching that series. Not just for you guys, but I think it's just a pattern across all the episodes. Like all of those chefs, none of them they only think a second about like really building the business or making money. It's just what they put on the table for people
They
and
sacrifice a lot to do that.
and reputation. That indeed, like there's a lot of ego involved. Funny enough,
it is a very ego world.
yeah.
And you can also see I'm coming from the very like corporate part of the industry, and also when I had this like tech industry stop in my life, it's very corporate. We do sit down around the table and talk a lot about the things, and we probably also have a second and a third meeting about the thing we talked about the first time. And it's very like, and we like to paint on the board and do the Excel sheets, and it works. I completely recognize the fact that it works there, and I must just admit that it doesn't really work here. At least not when it's such a proactive environment where you have to deliver like this every day. And I really tried to get Nicky to understand how much we had to work in the sheets and talk about things and implement the right strategy and all these things. And we just don't have the time to do that. So it's like learning by doing.
Yeah, but it's also having, I guess, to some extent, a slightly different mentality, like where someone is more working as an artist.
Yeah.
Like often it becomes way more difficult to then have the structure on the other side. And it's nice if you can blend that in together.
It's very nice. And I think it's just, and I don't want to sit here and sound like a saint and our business is just a bit, because it's not. We are definitely also doing mistakes. And I'm very transparent and open about it. But we have just found a solution because Nicky and I, we got an investor after the Star. He is amazing. He lives in the US, but he's Danish. And he bought 20% of the company, and then he also bought the building we're in.
Oh,
So you
wow.
own
Which
it,
we can't, he owns it, but
Yeah.
yes, we have it in our hands now,
Yeah.
That's nice.
which also changed the strategy a lot
Yeah.
because now we are able to invest in the environment we're in.
Is it someone from the industry who invested?
No,
or-
no, he's one of the original Pandora founders.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes, he is
I was
amazing.
just fishing for a second because you were like investor, Danish, living
Yeah.
in the US. We also have an investor same way. So I was like, is it gonna be the same guy?
Oh
But it's
yeah,
not.
he's
I
called
was surprised,
Michael.
yeah.
Sorry.
He's called Michael.
Okay,
Michael
I was just called David.
Okay.
But I was just
yeah.
double checking. I guess the odds, like, we're getting.
Yeah, what's the
yeah,
odds?
It would be so funny.
No, he's really great, and he's a big part of why we're also doing the renovation now because
Mhm.
we would never have been able to. So he's a big part. He's the part of why we can progress in this way.
Mm.
And he also told us that nothing comes from one day to the other. And I completely agree on that, that it's okay that you're not going from like being born to run. You have those middle steps.
No, exactly.
And that's also what we have had. And that's also what we will still have because we could easily have spent more money on the renovation and we could have made it better and better and better for ourselves. But we also have to think about the money in this and we have to think about ourselves in that.
Also, the last part is not unimportant, of course.
Exactly.
Even though I guess both of you are quite consumed by what you do.
Yeah, but we are now because Nicky is working a lot right now. And so am I, but his job is way more physical than me.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to work like this when he's 50 years old.
Oh.
And that's also why we've decided, him and I, to invest all our time in this now. To hopefully give ourselves a life where there's more freedom included when we're older.
Just out of curiosity, because I'm never spending a day in a Michelin-starred kitchen. I'm just curious, what does Nicky's day look like?
Oh, yeah. We meet in at around 9 in the morning. We want to come before the staff because...
Only moment of quiet, peace.
So we can have a cup of coffee. We usually go a walk around the building to see if there's anything in the... We have this huge garden. If there's anything in the garden we need to be able to fix or whatever.
Mm.
Then the staff, they usually meet in at 10, but they are already coming from like 9:30, 9:45. Then they're going to change. Then all the grocery are being delivered. So they take in the fish and the vegetables and all these things, pack them out. there's always a mistake. So he has to
You
call
always have to check the orders.
he calls all the delivery guys. He spends probably like 20, 30 minutes on that compared to how big of a mistake this has happened. And then they start the procedure. Then they do a briefing in the kitchen before they start. How many guests do we have? Allergies, anything we should be aware of, Then they have a bit of breakfast. And then they start working. And I don't know about the schedule and I kind of don't want to know, but they work very structured. So between, let's say, 10 and 12, we do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And at 12, you have to be done with this. And then we start the new, and then we start the next, and then,
I should have checked this out beforehand, but do you have a fixed menu currently?
Yes. We have one menu we offer. It's a 16-course menu. Yeah.
And you just try to have the same menu for a set period, or?
Oh, that's the worst question in the world. If it was up to Nicky, he would change it every day. Yeah.
But that's the main thing what I was curious about, because I'm just curious about.
Exactly.
But that's the main thing I'm also just curious about, like that process of coming up with these dishes, and I guess for them it's also all they think about.
The thing is, you start seeing, once you have something that's fixed on paper, you start seeing how it could be even better.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't really see that until it's there, and it's.
He's incredibly creative. And I admire him a lot for that. It's a bit annoying for me because one thing we always agreed on is that he can completely decide what he wants to have on the menu, but he have to calculate it first.
Like the prices.
The prices for each course.
And make sure to communicate it before the menu is
Yeah,
printed.
we have a shared sheet, so he doesn't no longer have to speak.
Okay. Nice. Because there's this moment in the show as well where there's a last minute change on the menu, but then they already have them printed, so then it's chaos.
Yeah,
but then he
the
was big enough to
part
say, okay, we can still do it.
Yeah. In the end.
A lot of the challenge is also hitting consistency, right? Every single day, because you know what your top level is at, and that's what got your reputation.
Have to outperform your top level.
Yeah, but how do you make sure that you have that consistency? Are you, for example, are you very good at keeping staff around, or do you see a lot of ins and out there?
I mean, I think we're quite good at keeping staff. There will always be people that doesn't fit in the right or wrong way. We've had one since day one. He's still there. He had a small detour, came back.
Oh,
that's a good sign.
Yeah,
exactly.
We actually have two that came back.
Yeah.
How many people are you?
11.
Okay.
And how has that been for the two of you? Because suddenly you have that. It's not really a family; it's a workplace.
It is a family.
But yeah, you have that responsibility as well for these people to ensure that.
That's actually quite fun because it's not very long time ago that Nicky and I were just the employees.
Yeah.
And we knew how important it was to be important, to feel important, and to be seen. Especially from my side, I knew how hard it can be to, wander through the big teams and be the one that's paid attention to. So I think a goal we've always set for ourselves is that we have to take so good care of the staff. It's tough working in that environment, so we have to make sure that first of all they get quite good salary. They split the tips, but Nicky and I, we don't take a single part of that because they really deserve it. And then we do a lot of staff parties and get-togethers.
Oh, that's nice.
And I'm not saying that this is the right recipe for taking care of them, because if they like it there, they are there. And if they don't, they will leave anyway. But I'm really, really trying to incorporate us as a one team and not a kitchen and a front of house, because it's so, so important that we work together.
Yeah, especially with a team of that size.
Conflicts between those two. Do you have any specific things you did to ensure that there's a good collaboration, or is it just being close as a team? It's
just been close since day one, but I think it's because Nicky and I, we represent each department of it. And if him and I, we work good together, then the rest also have to.
But I also think that issue is more in normal restaurants.
I think it's everywhere.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think so. That's at least what we hear.
Yeah, it might be, because of course you're both doing your own thing. But at least when I feel like with the Yeah, when you talk about again Michelin with perfection, you just have to be an oiled machine that works, or at least you communicate way more together. That's
Yeah.
where you go to a normal restaurant.
There
At
will
least,
just always be the one that we worked so hard and they didn't.
yeah, you will blame. Yes,
Yeah, there
And
will
then if
always be the blame game,
But there
right?
is also in the kitchen. It's just such a harsh environment where,
Yeah.
and you can't let that reach the guest. So the
No,
front of
no.
house has to be calm and very like
yeah,
But I think we have the
Nice.
most incredible staff in the world. And I'm not saying it because it's my staff, but I really mean it.
yeah.
I am sometimes I'm like when I stand there on the outer line and looking in it, I'm just like I have no idea how they got so professional and how they can meet up and be so involved and so
just enjoying watching
yeah,
them.
yes, I really am. I remember one time when we opened the restaurant and I was so stressed about life. There was life. There was one of my mom's friends who also owns a restaurant. And she said to me, "You know what? When you feel that it's the hardest, then go to a corner in the restaurant and close your eyes and then just listen because there's no better sound than people that are speaking inside of your restaurant because that means you're doing something right."
Mm.
And I'm really doing that still that day today. That if it's too much and I'm being stressed doing service because there are things happening,
Of
and I'm
course.
going to the corner and just listening, and I can hear 40 people talking because they're having a fantastic time in my restaurant, and then I'm doing something right.
Yeah, it's a good reset button, to be honest, right?
It is.
Like, have
It's
you
a very
also-
good reset button.
By now, it's been again 2 years since you've been doing this. Have you also built up a nice network within the industry, also
Yes.
especially on the top level? How is
Yeah.
that? How do you help each other?
Oh, I mean, that's something I'm really fascinated about, to be honest, because from the previous workplaces and industries I've been in, there's a lot of competition. I'm better than you are. I win your customers, these things.
Mm.
And in this industry, we help each other a lot. We really, really. I remember for the Michelin ceremony the first year where we got the star. I remember
Yeah.
Christian Baumann, who owns Koan, got 2 stars right away. I think he was one of the coolest guys in the world. I never met him at that time because I was just like, who are you to make like a profitable business and get 2 stars right away? You must be good. And then he came to me that day. I've never met him. And then he just gives me a hug and be like, I'm sure you get 1 star right away.
Yeah, I also just remember the reaction from I forgot his name, from Jonna.
Oh, Eric, yeah.
When it was announced that you guys got the star,
Yeah.
you could also see him just like you could literally see he just looks proud right now.
He was very
Yeah,
proud.
that's super nice to
Yeah.
see. And then he also got 3 stars himself afterwards.
Yeah.
Also dope. But still, you could really see him just
It
standing
was
there like,
very fun because right before the ceremony, we and Joanna and Christophersen met at a hotel because we had to be mic'd up. And yeah, so weird. And this is obviously nothing that has ever been out. But we are standing in this lounge and Nicky's like shitting his pants of he's
being
so
nervous.
And then he's like to Eric, like, Eric, why are you not nervous? You're always nervous because Nicky's always been with Eric for the ceremonies. And then your Eric is like, I'm getting there now. I'm very nervous now.
Thank you for
and then we
putting
were
that
just
up.
standing there, 3, couples together, just shaking.
Because all of you also do it together, right, with partners.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the thing we have in common. Yeah.
That other place is also so cool.
Yeah,
How did you
Knusterforsen.
that
We've
looks
been there.
so
It's
awesome.
incredible.
Because they also 1 star, I think,
Yeah.
right? And they're chasing 2
Yeah.
as well.
That's a very cool story of them too. Yeah.
He is Danish, right?
Yeah, they both are.
They're both Danish.
Yeah.
That place looks so awesome. It's like in the Swedish forest somewhere.
It's actually their own house they used to live in.
Rebuild it, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they're like done with this. This used to be our living
That's
room.
actually exactly, and you can really feel the warmth and the healthy part of it too in there. Yeah.
Before we wrap it up, we have been talking about it quite a bit. What it's like running a business together with your partner. I'm still just interesting to hear a little bit more about how that is like on a daily basis. Like, how do you also manage to sometimes maybe separate it a little bit? Is that even possible?
Yes, it is in our case. I think first of all, it's very important to say that Nicky and I, we met in that way. We met
as colleagues.
Yeah. And I think that has helped us a lot because a lot of people are saying like that must be hell to work with your partner. And I couldn't imagine a life without it. First of all, I would never see him.
No, yes.
in the industry that he works in. So I'm very happy that we get to do this together. But
honestly, super good point.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah. Yes.
Just letting it sink in now.
Wow.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah. So that's first of all very good for the relationship, I think. But what's also very good for the relationship is that we're so good at two very different things. So we're not really clashing in what we do. I trust him so much in what he does in the kitchen, and he trusts me 100% in what I do with the business. And obviously we've had some like workarounds in that and some doubt, but now we know you got it, trust each other, tell each other if you're not feeling confident in what you're doing. And then of course the one person supports the other. But I think it's so nice that we are so good at two different things that makes the business work very well, because it lets him stay so focused in the kitchen. He doesn't necessarily have to think about any kind of like finance, bills, salaries, staff, everything. I'm taking care of it. But then I'm also able to not think about the quality we're actually sending out. Obviously I am, but I know he got it 100%.
Yeah, you just have trust that everything that comes out is.
And then we have some very good managers in the restaurant. We have a restaurant manager called Patrick, and he's my soulmate. I would not know what to do without him.
That's also nice, right? To get to that stage.
It's really
you
nice.
have to build that up, of course.
And that's also based on trust, right? He's been with us in October 2 years, so a little over a year.
So almost
one
the
and a
entire
half
time,
year.
basically.
Yeah, kind of like. And he's my rock.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I mean, you can never do this on your own, no matter if it's your partner or whatever. It's really a team effort.
It's just when you're saying it like that, it seems like there's actually only benefits of doing it with your partner. Do you also have some things or some days you wish you didn't have all this together?
Yeah, and that's where I feel that sometimes we can only talk about that. I do feel that our life is only about the restaurant. And that's something you can't really make different now. But we should be better, and we do also tell each other sometimes, we should be better at not talking about it. But it's so hard.
But as I see it, it's a bit like having a kid together, because
so.
you're so passionate about that kid or
One
that
thing.
restaurant, and you just want to talk about it as well, because
Yeah.
you're so passionate about it, and you share that thing with your partner. So
Yeah.
as parents, they also tend to, let's say they get away from their kid one day, go for a dinner,
They still talk
to
about
meet
it.
them, and they're just talking about the kid, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's very normal, actually.
I think so too. And it's, at the end of the day, it's how it is.
Yeah.
But of course, there is some differences to some extent, because you might at some point also, of course, depending on what you want. But if you want a kid at some point, that needs to be possible as well with it.
We've also talked a lot about that.
Exactly. So
How
it's
we want
completely
to
different, but
take
perhaps
that
in the future.
maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.